So here we will discuss about the project. Project always means something very essential in everyone's life. And in fact, rather than giving the marks and giving marks for the interview, people are impressed by the projects. So in this session, we are going to see how you have to think about the project. It's not very difficult. You can choose any topic, but the only thing is you have to link it with the uh, chemistry, the subject which you are going to specialize, right? So any topic, I'm going to tell you a few things and you can insert a small subject there and tell that it is connected with chemistry and therefore you've got a very good project. Now this process is called as the applicability. That is what you study in applied chemistry. MSc applied chemistry in Anna University is in very great demand. The reason is, it has got so many disciplines coming together and somehow or that they find a particular discipline to connect it to the chemistry. So once connected to the chemistry, it becomes a very applied chemistry. And that is what we are going to see today. I'll give some essential points. So let me share the screen here to tell you about the essentialities of this. Okay. First of all, you must be aware of what a research methodology means. We have got a separate paper in research methodology for MPhil that deals about the method, how you are going to write, method of writing a paper. Reporting a result. Okay, you observe something and you got. So this will have a structure like, for example, in the organic preparation, you have got a right chemicals required, procedure, and then you have got the calculation section, and then finally you have got what result. Okay, the research methodology is confining to something like that. So it will construct abstract, then you'll have the question, and then you'll have hypothesis. It will cover so many theories, and then after having theories, you will put some data. Finally, you come to some conclusion and the results. That is what the research methodology means. You'll study more detail about research methodology in MPhil, but I'm limiting myself to only a few things here. Now, the important topic here is what constitutes a research topic. So if you ask me, I'll suggest two things in research. One is a discovery, something which has not been discovered, something which is new, which we call it as the novel. Okay, de novo, something very new, novel. That is very difficult nowadays to find. You can see how it's very difficult to find a drug to contain a virus nowadays. Rather, the second part of the research topic is applicability, applied science. Okay. Now you can see that in the present scenario, BSc agricultural chemistry has grown into a very great demand because all industries have been shut in the past. Many industries were shut due to the pandemic in the past few months. So people switch over to agriculture. Now you can see the agriculture, agricultural chemistry is entirely a different aspect. But what you can do is take over something called as the soil chemistry. Just add this word, soil chemistry. Soil is silicates. You will have some biological species there, and then you'll find out what happens when some chemical nutrients added like nitrogen, phosphorus, potash, what happens to the soil. You collect soil from different places and put them in a standard sample. Standard sample means if you test how fast a seed grows in a particular soil, you have to collect about 50 grams of soil sample from every corner, like from a mountain, from near the river, from the college, from the lake bed, from the street bed, or from some playground. Okay, there are different types of soils, but the only thing is you are adding some only nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash to find out what is happening, what is the result of this addition of these things. So for that, you will require a tabular column, and all these things will have a lot of data. Data na chumma bayandra kudadu. Data means, periodic table is a data. Mendel, how did he developed? He collected some elements, right? Then he just calculated all the properties separately, individually, and then found that they are all the result of some addition of electron, proton, and neutron. So he built a periodic table. Now, if your chemistry people call it as a periodic table, the IT people say, for the IT people, it's a collection of data, and then finally reporting it. Okay. So what constitutes a research topic is these two things: discovery you cannot do, application you can do. How you can use this to apply it to this. Now, how to select a research topic? This is the next hot thing. In the last year, two boys came for a project interview. One, I suggested computational chemistry. In the computational chemistry, what he did was he took a drug, and just he took a drug. The drug was taken. Then its chemical structure was analyzed. Its chemical structure was analyzed. So after the chemical structure analysis, its derivatives were changed. Derivatives were theoretically prepared. Okay, that was one topic. And the other topic was, one of the students took was, he took some. Listen to this very carefully. His area, his agricultural field. Then there some fruits. It varies. The fruits from Shimla varies. The fruits from the Pune or the fruit from any other places in the Ooty, they get varied. He took his area, took some fruits and extracted juices. And then measured pH. Or even changed the pH and found out what is happening to that. So here, one thing you can do is, you can take some of your area and do a extraction of the juice or herbal extract and then measure its pH. But you should have some standard. What is the standard? Standard means, for example, if Shimla apple is famous, you can get Shimla apple, extract its juice, measure its pH and keep it as a standard. Then go to different places, 5 or 6 places, get the apples from there, extract the juice, measure the pH and relatively compare it. This becomes a data for you. Okay. Likewise, you can take up the vegetables and do the same thing there. Okay. But there are certain limitations. The limitations are, what are the limitations encountered when thinking of doing project? Credibility. Credibility means, என்ன அப்படின்னா ஒரு இடத்துல செய்யக்கூடிய அந்த ரிசல்ட் மற்ற இடத்துல கூட வரும். அது வராது most of the time. Now, if you are overcoming this limitation, then it's a very good research project. What you do certain experiment under standard temperature and pressure, and under STP at a different place, you will get a very good result there. Okay, so let me take up certain case studies later in the coming section. Now, the next thing is the literature review. This is very important. All these things. Even if you want to do PhD in the next year, I would suggest that you don't go directly for any registration. What you do is you take up the literature, you just search in so many sites, particularly Google Scholar is there. Google Scholar is there. In the Google Scholar, you can just type the things which you want. You see that it presents so many articles. These articles, they will call it as the scholarly articles. You carry the things by earlier persons. Somebody is having mute பண்ணுங்கப்பா. Somebody's mic is giving me the voice. Okay. Then this will put out all the articles there. And what you have to do is, you have to find out that the work which you are going to do is not reported by anybody. நீங்க பண்ணக்கூடிய work வேற யாராவது பண்ணிருக்கீங்களான்னு பார்க்கணும். If it is already reported, you're not going to do that. What you have to do is, if somebody has reported the work of something like extraction of juice and pH, you can limit it to your area. It is not done in my area. Okay. The extraction and measurement of the pH in the Vellore district in that particular state, like that you have to say. You can see many PhD works are there. Like what PhD works of some commerce people. Job satisfaction of government school teachers in the Vellore district, they will interview several persons and take up the report. Okay. Then the next PhD for the same grade is job satisfaction of government school teachers in Tirupati district. That is one PhD. And then next is job satisfaction of government school teachers in Tiruvarur district. Right? The name, the district comes there. The procedure is the same, but it is applicable to some particular area. It's not something new. அது ஒன்று நியூ கண்டுபிடிக்கிற மாதிரி டிஸ்கவரி எல்லாம் ஒன்றும் கிடையாது. But for that particular area, it's a data from which somebody can deduce, somebody can get very good results and deduce the results. And these results may be used for future understanding. Okay. Then you find out the resources of information in the literature review. இவங்கெல்லாம் எங்கிருந்து எடுத்திருக்காங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லி நீங்க பார்க்கணும். Sources of information. What is the source of information? You can directly contact the source and get the information from there. For example, if you have some authors there, you can contact the author. They will give you the very good result there. Okay. Then you have to select appropriate methodology. Suppose if you are using some preparation, you have to find out how it is. How it has been implemented. Okay. What are the common types of qualitative methodology and the common types of quantitative methodology? இதுல உங்களுக்கு வந்து quantity இருக்கும். As the name itself says, இதுல உங்களுக்கு quality இருக்கும். Qualityக்கும் quantitative உங்களுக்கு நீங்க systematic qualitative analysis பண்ணிருக்கீங்க, systematic quantitative analysis பண்ணிருக்கீங்க. All the iterations which you do, gravimetric and volumetric, is a quality. நீங்க எவ்வளவு பெரிய சொல்யூஷன் எடுத்தாலும் அதுல அமௌண்ட் தான் கண்டுபிடிக்கிறீங்க. அமௌண்ட் வந்து குவாலிட்டி. That is the variation does not affect the quality. Okay. But in the quantitative methodology, if you change the quantity, the property may vary quantitatively. I think I told you about, we have done this in QSCR. QSCR, we have done quantitative structure activity relationship. We found that so many structure activity relationship is dependent on the structure of the chemistry and the chemical structure there. The number of carbon atoms you increase, its toxicity increases, so that is a quantity. The number of nitrogen and phosphorus atoms you increase, it gives you the property of the medicine. Okay. Then you have to find out what type of data you have to collect. What type of data you collect? Data collection samples, for example, if you have been telling you about the pH measurement, the data that is pertaining to that particular area has to be collected, and you cannot collect any other data like, for example, whether there is rain or whether there is flood or whether there is sunshine. That data is not at all needed. Only the significant data is the need. Then how to collect data is the experimental part. And this is the most essential, how to analyze data. Analysis. In chemistry, we call it as the result and discussion. And what are some of the tests used in categorical data? This is the experiment. What are the tests used on continuous data? So these two things, we will see some in coming examples. How to draw a conclusion from the data. Conclusion from data is, we have that important jokes. Or frog. But anyway, I'll just encounter it. A frog front leg was removed. Leg remove பண்ணிட்டு அப்படியே அதுக்கு மிரட்டினா அது ஓடி ஜம்ப் பண்ணி போச்சு. ஏன்னா 3 leg இருந்தது. இன்னொரு leg கூட எடுத்துட்டாங்கன்னா அப்போ கூட வந்து மிரட்டினாக்கா அப்போ கூட அது ஜம்ப் பண்ணி போச்சு. 2 leg எடுத்தாச்சா, ஹிண்ட் லெக் 4 leg பின்னாடி இருக்கிறது ஹிண்ட் லெக் அது ஒன்று எடுத்தாங்களா. அப்போ 3 கால் எடுத்தாச்சு, ஒரே ஒரு கால் இருந்தது. அப்போ கூட அந்த ஃப்ராக் மிரட்டினா அது அப்போ கூட ஜம்ப் பண்ணிச்சான். அப்புறம் 4th leg கூட எடுத்துட்டாங்க, ஒரு ஃப்ராக் உடைய தவளை. இது 4 காலம் எடுத்துட்டு மிரட்டினா அது எங்கே ஓடுக்கணும், அது ஜம்ப் பண்ணவே முடியாது. இட் கேனாட் ஜம்ப், ரைட்? அப்போ கன்க்ளூஷன் என்ன பண்ணாங்களாக்கா, ஃப்ராகுக்கு வந்து 4 கால் எடுத்துட்டோம்னா அது காது கேட்காது அப்படின்னு கன்க்ளூஷன். கால் இருந்தால் தானே ஜம்ப் பண்ணும் அது. பட் இவங்க என்ன கன்க்ளூஷன் பண்ணாங்க, அதுக்கு மிரட்டினா அதுக்கு வந்து அந்த காதுல விழல. So when you remove 4 legs, the frog is unable to jump. The reason is it is not able to hear. அப்படின்னாங்களா. So that's a very wrong conclusion. So you have to draw a very good essential conclusion. And how to present it is more important. எப்படி நீங்க present பண்ண, சும்மா பண்ணிட்டு நான் பண்ணி பார்த்தேன் சார் அது வரல சார் அப்படின்னா that is no meaning at all. Whatever you have done, this is that is why we have in your notebook experiment, observation, inference. Okay, and then the last இதெல்லாம் லைஃப்ல எல்லா இடத்துலயும் இருக்கும். You should have it at every place in your life. You see an experiment and that is what you call it as an observation, and the meaning is you have to note this down. And then you have got some inference. This is what is we call it as the experience. Then American Chemical Society or American Mathematical Society is there, how you have to report the data that is in. Okay, now let us move to the next part of the slide which I am having here to present you different fields there. So I think you can just take up these different fields. Don't get fooled that it is not at all connected with chemistry. Chemistry க்கு சம்பந்தம் இல்லைன்னு சொல்லிடாதீங்க. ஏரோடைனமிக்ஸ்ல கூட உங்களுக்கு வந்து லிங்க் இருக்கும். ஏரோடைனமிக்ஸ்ல என்ன இருக்கும், மெட்டீரியல் யூ ஆர் யூசிங், இதெல்லாம் பிசிக்கல் சயின்ஸ். மெட்டீரியல் யூஸ் பண்ணா, மெட்டீரியல் சேஞ்ச் பண்ணா உங்களுக்கு வந்து என்ன வித்தியாசம் நடக்குது சொல்லி. ஓகே, then the thermodynamics of those things are there. Then you have this astronomy. Astronomy is there. Chemistry, cooking and food science, music, photography. Here you use material that is used. Then physics, then sports science, and then you have this engineering. So let us skip these engineering things, because you are not going to use it. But here you have got robotics. You can use something like drones. Nowadays, drones are visible there. I've got myself one drone which is purchased for 4,000 rupees. That we can use it. Then you have behavioral science, in which you can choose human behavior, taking food and behavior. After taking certain food, how its behavior is there. And then sociology part is there. Sociology, how its social behavior is changing, and all those things you are going to do. Then in life sciences, you have got very good features there. You call it as the biotechnology, genetics, genomics. Don't go into this, not much needed. Human biology, mammalian biology, medical biotechnology, plant. Everything you have to get the data, and this is very essential nowadays. Even central government allots. Central government funding is there: ocean science, weather and atmosphere, geology, environmental science. Then you have computer science. It's my file. All computational physics, computational chemistry, and those things. Pure mathematics, theory. And you can take up certain equations, and if you change the equations and the parameters, you can give that result. And video and computer games are also there. Okay. So these are so many fields that are there. In the special category, you can see that you have got safety science. You might have so many industries there in your field. உங்க இடத்துல ஏதாவது ஒரு நல்ல இது இருக்கும். நீங்க ஒரு மெக்கானிசம் போட்டு ஏதாவது சேஃப்டி இருந்துச்சுன்னா, ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் லாஸ்ட் ஐ திங்க் some years back there was a student in third BSc chemistry. செல்லம்னு ஒரு பையன் இருந்தான். அது சொல்லியிருக்கேன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். I think I have told you. மொபைல் ஃபோன் அப்போதான் ஸ்டார்ட் ஆச்சு. ஷாக் அடிச்சதுன்னா மொபைல் ஃபோன்ல இருந்து அவங்க பேரண்ட்ஸ்க்கு மெசேஜ் போகும். அது டிவைஸ் பண்ணா எங்க இருக்கான்னு தெரியல. It's a very good things, you know. Even though it may not be connected with chemistry, but you can use electricity. ஏதோ எலக்ட்ரிக் சர்க்யூட் வந்து ஜேப்ல வச்சுட்டு ஒரு கம்பத்துல ஏறுறான். கம்பத்துல ஏறும்போது ஷாக் வந்துச்சுன்னா அந்த சர்க்யூட் க்ளோஸ் ஆகுது. சர்க்யூட் க்ளோஸ் ஆச்சுன்னா உடனே வந்து அந்த செல்போன்ல இருந்து மெசேஜ் போகுது அவங்க கேர்டேக்கர். அது அவன் இம்ப்ளிமெண்ட் பண்ணி காட்டினான் அந்த பையன் செல்வம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. இட்ஸ் வெரி குட் ப்ராஜெக்ட். No, I tried contacting the central government for getting a fund, but couldn't succeed. This is a very good thing, you know. So electricity, somehow electricity and magnetism can be used to connect it with chemistry, and then you can do it. Virtual reality is not very important for us. So you can later see this and find out how this can be useful for you in your later part of the video. So here is one of the first experiment that I am just mentioning. Measuring a sugar content of a liquid with laser pointer. Laser pointer is nowadays, is available everywhere. The amount of refraction. This is a chemistry. Chemistry part you have to write mu equal to sin I by sin R. இங்க வந்து angle அப்படியே சேஞ்ச் ஆகுது. இப்படி வந்து இங்க இது போகுது, இங்க சேஞ்ச் ஆகுது. So this is called as the angle of I. இது வந்து I, இந்த angle. இந்த angle வந்து R. You can just change the pH of the solution. இப்போ இது சாதாரண எக்ஸ்பெரிமெண்ட் தான், புரியுதா? இது வந்து பிசிக்ஸ் லேப்ல ஃபர்ஸ்ட்ல எல்லாமே பண்றாங்க. பட் நீங்க என்ன பண்ணணும்னா, எங்க ஏரியால என்னுடைய அக்ரிகல்ச்சர் ஃபீல்ட்ல என்னுடைய எடுத்த பிளான்ட் உடைய இந்த டைல்யூஷன்ல, இப்போ உங்க ஏரியால வந்து சப்போஸ் ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் லெட் மீ டேக், இஃப் யூ ஹேவ் எ கிரேப் ஜூஸ், யூ கேன் யூஸ் polarimeter to find out if there is any asymmetric center or not, and if you have any polarizability or not, find out பண்ணிடலாம். டைல்யூட் பண்ணிட்டே போங்க, நல்லா டைல்யூட் பண்ணுங்க. கான்சன்ட்ரேஷன், you should know the terms of the concentration. You mention the concentration terms and you make it so dilute that it becomes transparent. Transparent ஆனா 1/100th of a dilution எடுத்துக்கீங்க. 1/100th of a dilution எடுத்து 1 ml எடுத்து 100 லிட்டர் வாட்டர் போட்டீங்கன்னா உங்களுக்கு வந்து இந்த மாதிரி டைல்யூட் சொல்யூஷன் வந்தாகும். அந்த மாதிரி சமயத்துல மேத்தமெட்டிக்கல் ஃபார்முலா இது ஸ்னெல்ஸ் லா இருக்கு. அதான் ஸ்னெல்ஸ் லா. We will use figure 2 to understand Snell's law. Shows a ray of light. You can read it later. In the light refraction, in the bending of light varies for the different fluids that are there, and you can say that at this particular dilution, at this particular combination, or even you can use the ratio. Ratio எப்படின்னா 1:2, 1:2 ratio, 1:4 ratio, 1:6 ratio, 1:8 ratio, 1:10 ratio. இதுல எல்லாம் என்ன ரெஃப்ராக்ஷன் வருதுன்னு பார்க்கலாம். ரெஃப்ராக்ஷன் இதுல வருது, நீங்க பார்க்கலாம். சேஞ்சஸ் எல்லாம் இருந்துச்சுன்னா நீங்க அப்படியே கண்டினியூ பண்ணிட்டே போகலாம். ஸோ யூ வில் கெட் லாட் ஆஃப் டேட்டா தேர். data. You collect the data, you can naturally try பண்ணி பாருங்க, ஏதாவது ஒரு கன்க்ளூஷன் வந்துடும் உங்களுக்கு. இதுல என்ன இருக்குது அப்படின்னு சொல்ல முடியாது, சொல்லக்கூடாது. ஏன்னா நீங்க ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்கா அந்த ஏரியாக்கு எடுக்கிறீங்க, புரியுதா? For example, if you belong to Tumberi, you can say that the plant grown in Tumberi is having a different capacity, different property. Because of that soil, it is giving like that. It is confined to that particular area, and that is why we use that mathematical symbol integration limit x tends to 1 to infinity. புரியுதா? இந்த மாதிரி சிம்பிள் எடுத்து இதுக்கு மீனிங் தான் லிமிட் x equal to வாணியம்பாடி டு தும்பேரி அப்படி போட்டீங்கன்னா ஒரு உங்களுக்கு வந்து இது வந்து limitation வந்துடுது. So all the calculations which you have done like this. So this is a refraction setup that you can buy for any from any store. Online is there, prism is there, you have laser beam, laser pointer, and then you can use the solution here. You can change the solution, and you can find out from the literature if there is a polar solution. You can find out what happens if you use polar solution. If there is non-polar solution, you can find out what happens to the non-polar solution, because donor acceptor concept is always there. Donor is a capacity to donate an electron, acceptor is the capacity to accept an electron. Suppose if you find out the constitution of your solution, your grape juice, you can find out with which atom it quickly makes a bond. Okay, for example, water. We will take water as standard. Then you can change different solutions of there. What are the polar solutions? Let me take chloroform, CaCl3, CH2Cl2. Then non-polar solvents like ether, ester. இதெல்லாம் போட்டா என்ன ஆகுது அப்படின்னு சொல்லி, it's a quantitative study. You can just say initiate, you will find out some or other result, right? So here is the terms and concept that you have to. For this project, how they are classifying this project, you can see that to do this project, you should do research that enables you to understand the following terms and concepts. Refraction and index of refraction and Snell's law and angle of incidence I and angle of refraction R and density density you can keep on changing. Here you can use different terms like density, pH, and turbidity. Of course, you have got in our college, you have got something called as a viscometer. 3 லட்சம் ரூபாய் கொடுத்து அதை விஸ்கோமீட்டர் வாங்கியிருக்கோம், இது வரைக்கும் ஒரு யூஸ் கூட பண்ணதே இல்லை. ஏதாவது ஒரு பையன் வந்து செய்வான்னு எதிர்பார்த்துட்டே இருக்கும், யாரும் வரமாட்டேங்க. Viscometer, we have got viscosimeter. We can find out the viscosity. Viscosity is connected with the density and specific gravity. So you can just find out the terms there. I can just talk in terms of the specific gravity and talk in terms of the density there. Then prism, angle of minimum deviation. This is something like statistical. Okay, so this is the beginning part. Okay, what you have to ask is, do different wavelengths of light reflect the same amount? Wavelength மாத்திட்டே இருக்கணும். நீங்க லேசர்ல நீங்க மாத்திட்டே இருந்தீங்கன்னா, லேசர்ல different lasers are there. You can just keep that changing the wavelength. Some wavelength you can find out, and after finding out the wavelength, you can see what it is doing. Why should you use a laser in this science project and instead of another source of light? Because it is monochromatic. Remember that laser has exactly one wavelength of light, and then you have to look into ஒரே ஒரு wavelength monochromatic. அதான் இது monochromatic. Bibliography தான் இதான் முக்கியம். யார் என்ன பண்ணிருக்காங்க, எப்படி செஞ்சிருக்காங்க சொல்லி சொல்லுங்க. Okay, here this is the most essential part. Concentration, chemistry part. Amount, quantity part. This is also the same ratio part. So you can have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. You can keep on data. have maximum data, then you will be able to come to some certain conclusion. Beginningல அது ஒரு மாதிரி தான் இருக்கும். போக போக உங்களுக்கு நல்ல ஐடியா வரும். Okay. Then we will have the, I think, what you require for this special items can be purchased. You have to do some purchase. கொஞ்சம் பணம் எடுத்து செலவு பண்ணணும். Acrylic prism வேணும், stopper, small funnel, laser pointer, graduate cylinder, rod. And you will need some cardboard, tape measures, paper, pencil. All those things are very small things. Okay. Then he is telling about pocket scale, and most of the things are nowadays available in the Amazon websites. So I think I just been able to take up one small experiment, take up one small example, try to tell you. Remember, the experiment, observation, inference இருக்கு இல்லையா? You should have a notebook. So that you can come to the inference. Okay. So I will discuss some more projects in my next 2 or 3 classes. Something which is significant, I will use to, I'll just collect something and then you will tell you data. And in the end, I will just give something about computation chemistry. If you have any doubts, you can just ask me in my private things. I will stop using that.